What's up everybody, this is Jesse from VCC Board Repairs. Today we have a Nintendo Switch that somebody tried to repair themselves and destroy the board. So let's go through the process of repairing this device. If you want to look, here's the port. It is missing a bunch of pads. There's flux everywhere. So hopefully I can get this all fixed up for you guys here on the live stream. So thanks everyone for joining us here. Here's a better close-up of the board, which doesn't look good, but should be doable. I'm hoping so. So thanks a lot for joining us. Let's get started with this repair. As always, I will link to all my tools and everything I'll use in today's video down below. Also check out my t-shirts as well, like this one. We'll fix your phone for Bitcoin. So if you're into crypto, it's a good shirt to get. So let's give this repair a try. So first thing I want to do is actually kind of clean up the board. I do see people are joining us here on the live stream. Welcome everyone. So there's a lot of flux everywhere. This is something I noticed with people who are new to soldering. They'll just flood the board with flux and never clean it, and then they'll leave behind all this residue. You can see they're struggling with the ground pads here. So, and then a ton of flux here. Luckily, this area is clean. Oh, this is just thermal paste. That's clean. The rest of the board is clean. Thankfully, just the charging port area. By the way, how does the resolution and quality look? Those of you on the live stream, I'm getting a warning from YouTube. But I think it should be fine. Also here on the back, you can see all this nasty flux. But the rest of the board is fine. So just, you know, whoever the last tech was struggling most likely, and all right. So what I'm gonna do first is try to clean this up. So I'm going to use some heat. To kind of just, because what happens is flux, when it's room temperature, it gets really, it's kind of like syrup. It's really thick. I do want to scrub this off. Because who knows what kind of flux they use, especially if they use low end or low quality flux. It gets really nasty. Oops. Let me get some Q-tip cleaning things. All right. So if you're joining us here on the live stream, don't forget to smash the like button. If you're not subscribed already, definitely subscribe as well if you like repair tutorials, soldering videos, stuff like that. 100% solutions here on the channel. So that looks much better. Oh, one of the customers' board is ringing. Luckily, no sound. All right, let's heat up this side and clean it up as well. So yeah, hi everyone. I see there's the live chat is pretty active. Is this something you guys just run into often? Previous repair attempts where they just destroy the board, leave all this flux behind. Yeah, the microscope camera is dark just because of the bright shield here. Maybe what I'll do, yeah, I don't know what to do about that. I could turn off the auto exposure setting, but then it's kind of weird. And now my phone's ringing. All right. Let's try to clean this up. So let me know in the chat, where are you guys watching from? Where are you located? Are you at your shop right now? Are you at home? Are you driving? All right, I think this looks pretty gross still. All right, let's go with that. So it looks like we just have put alcohol, at least on my side. I'm able to see a little better. Actually, let me check with my polarizer light. All right, this looks better. So with the polarizer light, you can clearly see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pads missing. This one's kind of missing. It's just bent or folded over and kind of stuck on this. So let's try to get this fixed. No, I think that's an alarm going off. Let me turn it off. Really annoying. There's non-stop buzzing behind me, which is very, very weird. All right, so first thing I want to do is clean up some of this solder here. Let's do this. Let's flow some low melt. So this is 138 temperature solder. It melts at really low temperatures. I essentially want to replace this solder with my own. But it looks like over here is kind of messed up. I'm gonna use some hot air. So I'm gonna use 365. Try to help me with this part right here. I'm going to see if I can bend this pad back to normal. All right, I'm going to turn up the temperature. I don't know, I think I might have to just break the pad just so I could release it from here. All right, I'm gonna turn up the airflow. Because I know for sure this pad here at the end is a ground pad. So I'm going to try to, all right, here goes. Oh, look at that. That's a good idea. Put some Kapton tape on the shield. It's messing with the camera lighting. All right, let's see. Let's try that. Let's see. Does that help? Still looks kind of dark. I'm gonna put a magnet mat. I'm sure I have something smaller I could put here. Let's go with that. No, this will melt. I know what. I got a shield here from an iPad. Let's try that. All right, so next step is really to I know what. I have this shield. All right, let's go with that. So hopefully that looks better for you guys. It's kind of annoying that the camera does this. Although it's really helpful for like pretty much any other scenario. It just, for Nintendo Switch, that shield really messes with the automatic lighting settings. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is wick away the anchor holes using hot air and wick. Now there's many different ways you can do this. This is just how I prefer to do it. Essentially just hit the wick with your hot air and hope it kind of sucks it up. Make sure there's flux on the board. Well, I'll come back to that. All right, let me clean up some of this. Another trick is actually, let's do that. Let's just lay a piece of wick on the board. Make sure there's plenty of flux everywhere. And then do the same thing, but use your iron as well to essentially rub the. Sometimes just your iron by itself is not enough. You need that extra heat from the hot air. I think I'm out of wick. Oh, there it goes. Alright, I think I got most of it. You just gotta be careful not to damage the pads even further. And then clean up the area while the flux is still warm. That way you don't leave nasty flux behind like the last guy did. Uh-oh, I still see some solder in one of the one of the holes here. Alright guys, so let's get this last little anchor hole. Alright, I see some messages coming in. Hi Usman, I'm doing great. How long have I been in phone repair? Officially since like 2016-ish. So can I get the... There it goes. So 2016, and then just do the math. All right, so now let's fix some pads. If you guys have any questions, I would say I'm a open book for the most part. All right, so one of the nice things about this polarizer light, it makes it real easy to see these rip traces. Definitely recommend it if you could budget for it. It's $150 for this polarizer microscope light. It comes in real handy. Use it all the time for this situation, also for like the SE 2020 no touch or 3-minute restart, where you gotta dig out the traces. You can see maybe not as visible to you guys, but on my side it's real clear. Alright, so I'm scratching out basically the rest of the trace. So the pad that ripped connects to this trace, and what I'm going to do is essentially rebuild that connection using jumper wires. Looks like some friends ran into each other in the live chat. Very cool. All right, now before I do the jumpers, I do want to just prep the pads as well, the rest of them. So let me prep those and these as well. That way it's all ready to go. And then we're going to use the solder lugs to repair this. So we need 4 of them. Crap. Let me grab different tweezers. All right. Oops, did I lose it? All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I do not have a Discord. I don't know, maybe I should, but I don't. Alright, so essentially what I'm going to do is lay out the solder lugs. So one of the nice things about the polarizer light, it gets rid of the glare as well. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the jumper there. Alright. Oops. Let's see, did I get it? It's really hard to see with the flux in there just because of how shiny the flux is, but thing is, alright, so these all look good. Let me tin the solder lugs as well. Alright, that looks like they're installed. And then what I'm going to do is cut off the ends of the solder lugs by just pushing down on my blade. I'm using a number 11 scalpel blade. And then got all that out. And some alcohol. Oh, I found the extra solder lug, which I didn't use. So if you brush with the in the direction of the jumpers, then you'll be fine. If you brush upwards, then you're obviously going to push the jumpers out of the way and break them. So let's see, these all look solid. This one's slightly crooked, but whatever. Alright, so now we got to secure them with some UV mask, which I use this green stuff. It's very messy. Haven't figured out the best way to deal with it. So what I do is I'll push out a little bit. Oh, that's a lot. Put some on my blade. And then I have my blade here. And then with my tweezer, I just apply it where I need it. Like that. And then I do want to kind of coat, well, ideally around the jumper here, but sometimes it just gets on it and it's, oh well, I'll scratch it out later. The goal for the UV mask is to hold it in place while we're installing the new port. Alright. Also, I'm going to put some on the one here on the left that's a little loose. You also want to put a thin layer, don't overdo it. If you put a big mound, then it's going to get in the way of stuff. If you put too much, you could always just spread it out to flatten it. Or you can always scrape it down later. All right. All right, so there's a few ways to cure this. You can use a little UV light laser pen. Let's see if I could blind you guys. This works fine for you doing like just certain spots, or you can go with the USB powered one as well, which lets you just blast it with UV light all at once. All right, so I see Francisco is here. No, this is not your Nintendo Switch. How do you decide an IC is bad and needs to change when FPC connector and cap test good? I don't understand the question. So everyone loves rip pads. I don't. I hate it. Although they're pretty easy, it's just not fun. You know, if you add a bit of heat with UV, it'll cure in seconds. I did not know that. I never had any issues with it curing, so never bothered to try other stuff. All right, so here's the jumpers that are UV'd. So let's scrape out where the charging port is going to solder onto. So I'm just using my blade, and I only want to scratch out kind of like the center of the pad. Not too much, not basically everything. That way the UV on the surrounding side of it still holds it in place. Okay, so now let me clean this up. All right, so now it looks like kind of like a normal pads. You see Kaiser said hello. All right, let's get the new charging port. Hopefully this works on the first try. All right, I'm gonna use my board holder here. So what I like to do is prep the pads of the port to make it easier to, let's see. All right. Hit it with 230 air and it'll cure in 4 seconds. Never try that. Alright, so I'm gonna add flux here to, I think I'm putting too much. Well, let's try that. Then I'm gonna use my iron here to basically 10 each one. The goal is to have a little spike. I'm gonna go on this side. So these little spikes basically make it so the pins extend up towards the pads, and it makes it a little easier to solder on. So if you guys look closely, I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, look at that. Some pretty big spikes. All right, let's try to install this and see if it works. Since this was a pad repair, I'm not gonna do. So there's a new method that actually Ben Rosso showed me, which was a hot swap style method where you heat from the bottom. Although, because I'm dealing with ripped pads, I'm not gonna try that. Maybe in another video I'll do that, show you guys how I do those. No, I don't do eMMC programming for Android devices. Alright, so essentially I'm going to just hit it with some hot air and kind of monitor the pads back here, and then also press down on the port. So I'm heating the top of the port and then heating the back in efforts to, you know, soak the heat into this whole area. You gotta keep your hot air moving, otherwise you start melting the plastic inside the port. So you see how I push the port and like the solder on the pads kind of oozes or melts? That's a good sign. That means things are soldering together. Alright, I'm gonna give it a few more seconds and stop. Let me add some flux here at the back. Oops. I'm not left-handed, so that was hard to do. I think that's soldered on. I'm just gonna manually tin these pins just in case. I'll just make sure that it's a solid connection with solder joints. Yeah, I got some solder on this thing, just fine. Doesn't do anything. All right. So one thing I like to look at to see whether the inner pins got soldered on is if I see solder on these pins through the bottom, it's a pretty safe bet that it's soldered and it's connected. So see how there's solder there. So I would say it's good. Actually, let me solder the anchors as well before I forget. If you saw my live stream last time I was doing one of these, I skipped that step and I broke the pads again. It was not fun. But, you know, accidents happen. Alright, so this is the easy part. Why is it out of focus? Just flood it with solder. And then this corner one is always hard to reach. So I'm going to use my micro pencil, which is not powerful enough. So I am going to use some hot air for some assistance here. I'm going to do this one too. Now, one of the things about this case is that the customer sent me the board only. Oops. Which is really annoying. I asked for the complete device so I could test with their parts and we could be sure it works. Now, if I get it working on mine tester housing and then they can't get it working on theirs, then it's going to be one of those, you know, he said, she said things. We're like, oh, well, it doesn't work here. And then I'm like, well, it worked here. I'd rather just get the whole device, even if it takes extra, 5-10 minutes assembling and disassembling. Just to make sure that when they get it back, it's fully working. They don't have to open it or touch it anymore. Because, things can break in that process. All right, I think this is good. All right. All right, let's go to my tester housing here. Well, before I do that, let's check the USB charging currents. I should have had this untangled. All right, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying the live stream. If you find these videos helpful, it costs you nothing and really helps out the channel. And if you're not already, subscribe. All right, so this is my USB-C meter. It will only turn on when it detects a USB-C device. So I plugged it in and we got 15 volts at 0.03 amps, so that's good. If I wiggle it, I don't lose connection. Let's flip it over. So this is, double-sided USB-C port, and we're getting same thing on both sides. So that means both rows of pins are good for now. At least for that function. We still need to test a few more things. So let me put this in this housing. One of the most annoying things is trying to line up this LCD connector without damaging the pins. How many of you have damaged accidentally the LCD connector pins, causing no image? I'm not afraid to admit it. I have at least 3 times. One time I got lucky. I was able to bend it back into position. Let's see. Something not sitting right. Well, worry about that later. Uh-oh, I found the problem. The fan connector for, is it the fan connector? Hold on. Or is it the power button? Where does this one go? I think this one goes here. Okay, I just go with that. So I am going to plug it into charge. We have 15 volts, 0.5 amps. And look at that, turned right on. We have 15 volts, 0.81 amps charging. I don't have the game reader plugged in, so no touch, so that's normal. Do I need a mod? No, I don't. I don't go live that often. I don't have any troubles on the live stream anyway, so if there's any trolls, then maybe. But yeah, it's charging on this side as well. So yeah, this seems to be good. Now I do have another thing we can try. So another thing we can test is, so I have a USB-C adapter for a Nintendo Switch, so we could plug into. I have a little external monitor here that's battery powered. I use this for my camera, but it also works as HDMI, so I could basically, it's a mini TV. I use it for testing all the time. So what we can do is plug in this here, plug this into power, then plug in this HDMI here. So we should get this image on here if it works. Yeah, there you go. So the docking feature does work as well, because we're obviously getting that image on here. So yeah, I would say this is fully functional. Let me just flip it over just to be sure. Yeah, it's working. So successful repair, and it was only 42 minutes. Definitely longer than I told my wife. I was like, yeah, it's probably a 30-minute job, but we're at 42 minutes. Close enough. So there you have it. Thanks everyone for watching. Let me know if you guys found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments if you watched live or later what you guys found useful in this video. You know, if you guys need this repair, let me know. Whether you're a repair shop that needs to outsource any kind of soldering, or you're just a end user watching this and need this repair done for your Nintendo Switch, for your iPhone, your iPad, Samsung, I don't know, just let me know. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you check out the links down below in the description for my t-shirts. If you buy a t-shirt, you're helping out the channel. I get a small commission out of that. Also, same for the tools. I'll link to all my tools that I used today. If there's anything specific you want to know what I use, let me know as well. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see if I could go live more often. I do see there was 20-ish people here on the live stream, so that's pretty cool. Hopefully one day I'll get to 50 views or 50, live stream people, or 100. But for now, we're at 20-ish. So, all right, guys. Thanks. See you guys next time. Bye.